Macbeth needed to deal with his other rights.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of me reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath the wisdom that doth guide his valor, to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my gripe, thence to be rent, clutched in unlineal hands, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in a vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seat of Banquo of kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to utterance.
Outside of his castle, Macbeth watched Banquo and his son, Fleance, ride away on horses. As they rode away, two men greeted Macbeth. "We had thought about what you had told us," said the first man, and Macbeth replied to him,
"So you know it was Banquo who has ruined your life for so long."
The second man, then in an angry tone, told Macbeth that he was angry enough to even kill Banquo, and Macbeth said to them,
"Banquo is also my enemy too, and I wish he were no longer alive."
And the two men said that they would kill Banquo for him, and that they would make sure he was free from suspicion. Macbeth told them,
"Very good. However, I need you to kill his son Fleance, who is riding with him now."
The murderers then began to trail Banquo and Fleance. They had found a group of rocks to hide behind and wait. The murderers watched from the stables from a rocky cover as they waited for Banquo and Fleance to come back from their ride. "These stables are a mile away from the castle, and people usually walk from here to there," the murderer explained. Then they began to hear the horses approach, and the second murderer said that that must be Banquo and his son. As Banquo and his son got off their horses, the men surrounded Banquo and Fleance and started hitting them.
"Ow, my leg!"
After Banquo was beaten to a pulp, one of the men had grabbed him and drew a knife to his neck, and Banquo screamed, "No! Fleance, you must run, and you must avenge me." Fleance quickly ran past the two men and got away, as Banquo had his neck slit open. After the murderers had finished killing Banquo, they had realized that they had not killed Fleance. The second murderer then spoke to the others. "We should tell Macbeth we at least killed Banquo," and they started their trek back to the castle. Macbeth's party was lively, with many noble guests, Macbeth and his wife. Wool, bear soup, and battle sweat.
Dang, girl, that's a fine corset you got there.
The only corsets I like are croissants.
Macduff, did you hear about that new prophecy? It's all the rage.
I love witches. More witch propaganda for the win.
They made a new kind of cloth called silk. Do you like it?
I love silk. The murderers, who were contracted by Macbeth, came to the party and Macbeth had greeted them privately.
So, the deed is done?
The murderers shook their head. Fleance ran away. Macbeth sighed.
But Banquo is dead?
The murderers nodded, and Lady Macbeth came over and told Macbeth that he needed to entertain his guests. Macbeth returned, and his guests told him to sit with them, because Banquo hadn't showed. "Here's an empty seat," said one of his guests, but Macbeth seemed to see something no one else did. He saw the ghost of Banquo. "Which one of you did this?" Macbeth yelled at the chair occupied by the ghost of Banquo, and his guests looked at Macbeth as though he had seen a ghost. "I didn't do it. Stop shaking your head at me," Macbeth shouted again. The other lords started whispering with themselves. "He's not well, that's for sure." Lady Macbeth seized them all by telling them that he's always like this, and he always has been. And she took him aside from the group and told him to stop acting as though he had seen a ghost. Macbeth told her that he had indeed seen the ghost of Banquo. However, Lady Macbeth completely discredited him by telling him, "You need to stop with this ghost business. You're just hallucinating. Now, get back to your guests." And Macbeth returned to them. Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft and the leader of the three witches, came to the witch's cave with an angered look. "How could you tell Macbeth his future without telling me? I am the only one who can decide why bad things happen to people, and you told someone who behaves like a spoiled brat." The witches looked at her frightened. "Well, what can we do to make it up?" And then Hecate put on a devious grin. "Come to the pit in the river of hell. Bring your things too. Macbeth will be there to learn of a new, nasty, and terrible future." With Hecate's demand, she left the cave. Lennox, a nobleman of Scotland, had invited another lord into the dining room of his castle. "So, you want a second helping of battle split, obscure lord?" "So, you believe that Macbeth acted a bit shady after Duncan died?" And the lord nodded. "And how do you feel about Fleance and Banquo not showing up to Macbeth's party?" And the lord answered with, "I believe they should not have went out late, and that Fleance may have murdered his father." Lennox then asked the lord where Macduff, the Thane of Five, went to hide. After Macbeth had stole the throne, he went to the English court. Macduff asked King Edward there to help him form an alliance, so that he may be able to save his people. Macbeth has heard of this, and he's preparing for war. Lennox pondered this, and told the Lord that someone should ask Macduff to return and free their country from the tyrant. And the Lord said that he would do it, and then he had left.